Okay, so does anyone have anything they want to share about experiences? Maybe they paused, maybe they felt, I don't know, they noticed the voice of their Satan in their life.
I'm pulling up my notes.
Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so we spoke about how, I'm gonna do a quick review, sorry, I wasn't gonna know, how basically each of us are here and we're born with our tikkun. Our tikkun is the baggage that you take from lifetime to lifetime that has stuff that you need to work on, okay? And it could range from anything. We said that everything you attract in your life is based on your tikkun, right? So the husband that I marry is based on the tikkun that I have, okay? The kids, the soul of the kids that I draw down is because of the tikkun that I have. The way I view my world, my life, is through the lens of my tikkun, okay? So if you don't like someone, if you're irritated by someone, if something bothers you in the other person, what is it about? It's your tikkun. That if you don't have that tikkun, that person would no longer bother you, okay? We spoke about that. If you want to change your movie, you have to change something inside your soul, okay? We shift our movies up and down through that paradigm. We spoke about Satan. Satan's the code name for like agitation and confusion. So anytime you're in that place, I don't know what to do, I'm confused, that's Satan trying to get you. And to combat that, you use certainty, okay? You pause and then have certainty. Satan's MO is divide and conquer. So to combat that, you have unity consciousness, okay? We also spoke about how consciousness is so important. If you're not pausing, let's say there's no challenge and you're just eating your meal or whatever, how do you have unity with the creator in that space? You have that by having a consciousness that everything you do is to, not the word expose, what am I looking for? To bring out the energy of the creator in what you're doing. So if you're eating, you're connecting to the energy of the light in the food. You're eating the food to sustain yourself so you could then be engaged in acts of sharing, okay? Because we want to be like the light, right? We want to be sharing, we want to be in that circuitry mode. We're good? Yeah. Okay, when you're in that circuitry mode, we said this is called being connected to Ein Sof. It's the endless, it's the tree of life, okay? Just so you know those, the terminology. You're either connected or disconnected. There's no middle ground, okay? So our goal is to constantly have that place of connection. We spoke about prayer last week. If you want it to be effective, you have to ask, you have to know what you want. You have to have two opposing concepts at all time. It's called mati velo mati. It's like when you're watching the bleep, the particle can be in two places at the same time. You have to learn to hold these two opposing ideas all the time. So the opposing idea is that the whole world was created for me. I deserve everything, but I don't need everything. I'm okay. Like if I don't get the Chanel bag, I'm completely happy and okay, but I would love the Chanel bag. So you're holding both of these at the same time. So you're not dependent. My happiness, my contentness is not dependent on the bag, okay? Okay. Okay, this is the fun stuff. So this is my favorite class to teach. And I used to do this first. This used to be the first class, but I think now it's important to work our way up. So we spoke about in the beginning of time, there was light, right? There was just light. In order for there to be light, so what is the light? The light is giving, the light is sharing, right? In order for there to be a light that shares, what do you need? What? Okay, what else? What happens if why is space dark? Why is it dark in outer space? The same sun is there. Why do we experience light, but there's no light in space? So in order for light to be visible, it has to reflect off of something. There has to be a receiver. You can't share if there's no receiver, okay? So in the endless, the time before the Big Bang, you had the light was constantly sharing. By the nature of its sharing simultaneously, there had to be created a vessel to receive, right? So now the light is sharing, the vessel is receiving. Sounds great, right? But what happens? The vessel was created by the light, so it wants to be like the light. So what does the vessel want to do?
Take the light?
Share. The vessel can take, the vessel just receives. So imagine like the light is sharing, it's a positive pole, positive electrons moving, it's moving through, the electrons coming, and then this has a negative charge, it's receiving, right? But we learned that since we're created, we come from the seed. What the fruit of the seed is like the seed. So since we're created by the light, from the light, the vessel is from the light, it wants to be like the light. So the vessel also wants to share. In this world, could the vessel share? Can the vessel share with the sun? No, it can't, right? It can't. The sun is whole, the sun is sharing, the sun cannot receive your energy. So what happened? This all happened in 1 second. The vessel said, hey, I don't like this arrangement where I'm just receiving. I also want to be a sharing aspect, a sharing force. I don't want to just receive. It broke away. It said, stop. I want to earn the light. I don't want to just receive it without earning. It doesn't feel good. It shattered into a million pieces. And it said, the new contract is now, the new celestial contract is that we are now those souls, those broken vessels, and we're here to earn. So the only way you can connect to that light is to earn. There's no more free light.
Did this happen like with Adam and the eating of the apple? Is that like
There's
the shattering of that vessel, and because we were just receiving at that time?
There's a lot. I'm not going to go into it because I feel like not everyone is there, but yes. So this is how creation happened. This is also exactly what scientists explain is the Big Bang. Okay, you had an endless force of giving. The vessel was just receiving. The vessel did not want to receive unearned energy. The vessel broke away and said, hey, this doesn't feel good. Broke away and came into a million pieces. So why did the vessel shatter into, let's first talk about why the vessel shattered. Are we all comfortable with this so far, or is this too, okay.
What, so the shattered pieces.
Yes,
is that
I'm gonna get there.
us?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Yeah, the shattered pieces are us, yes.
Okay.
So what it was is the vessel was like, imagine one huge soul. So when they say we're all one, we're all connected, this is what it was. In the endless, we were all one. There was no separation between me or you or the person in Ghana. We're all one, right? The shattering had to happen so that we have to earn the unity and sharing. Because if I recognize that you are part of me, sharing with you isn't sharing, right? It's for, exactly. So I have to experience that otherness, that disconnect, right? With that comes confusion, comes all that stuff that helps us earn connecting to the light. We're good? Okay, so that moment, that breakaway, okay, it's called Tzimtzum, okay? It's called a contraction, okay, like a restriction. What happened was the vessel kind of pulls away, the light doesn't come into the vessel, it's like a contraction. Okay, did the light ever change? No, the light never changed. Okay, from the beginning of time till now, the light never changed. What changes?
We did.
Yes.
We
The way we want to relate to the light changes. The way we earn the light changes. So I'm going to take this a little further. What happens when you're depressed? What happens if you're having a bad day? What happens if you get bad news? What happens if something happens? Where did the light go? Where is God? Did God leave? No. What happened?
We disconnect.
You're not experiencing it. It's like a cloudy day, right? The sun is still shining. I'm not experiencing the light because there's a veil, right? There's a veil of clouds between me and the light, right? And let's go into it.
Is that called perspective?
What is this veil? What is this veil? I'm going to blow your minds now. Are you ready? That veil that prevents us from connecting to the light that's formed when we pulled away is made up of our tikkun. Your tikkun is blocking you from experiencing the light. It's the clouds. It's the veil, right? So the word for the veil is klipa. So every time we chip away at this veil, the klipot, we're drawing down. It's like having imagine I have the lamp over there and I put a blanket on it, right? Every time I work on my anger, my jealousy, my arrogance, my ego, whatever it is, every time I don't snap at my kids, I don't snap at my spouse, I'm taking away a blanket off of that. So what happens? I experience more light. I experience more blessings. I experience more fulfillment. I experience more abundance. I experience more health. Okay? Every challenge we have is just for us to connect to the light. Okay? Okay, we're good? Okay. The light was sharing, the vessel was receiving, it pulled away. Okay, so the feeling the vessel had when it was receiving, we're gonna talk about this for a minute. Let's imagine I take you every week, we go to Nobu and I pay for you, okay? Every single week. I never let you pay. I never let you give me anything in return. How long would you sustain that relationship with me?
Me personally?
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
you wouldn't. Why?
It's unearned.
You didn't earn it. It's spread of shame.
You feel uncomfortable. Nobody wants to receive without earning. We think we do. We think we do. Like you think of the trust fund baby, right? Like how amazing. Yeah, I would want, I don't know, a trust fund of 300,000 every month coming into my account. That sounds great. I would know what to do with it. You wouldn't. If it's unearned, those kids, and we've all seen it, those kids are the ones who are depressed. Those kids are the ones who, they have everything, but they have nothing, right? Because they were given energy that wasn't earned. Whenever we're depressed in life, okay, it's because we've been given energy we haven't earned. To combat that, you have to do physical and spiritual work. So let's go into more of this bread of shame feeling, because this is how you know how much to give to someone, where to pull back on how to give, and how to receive, okay? You remember last week I gave the cake example? Okay, so that, I think you said it, was an element of bread of shame because she was taking something that wasn't given to her yet, okay? So if you want something, tell me, what do you desire in life? Say one word.
Oh,
Okay, what else?
like a
Physically,
monetary?
yeah, anything.
Massages.
Okay. Okay, let's say she wants, I don't know, to hire a private masseuse.
Yeah.
And she wants this person on staff 24/7.
Yeah, that's what
Okay? if she wants it, okay, if she has the desire in her, okay, that means she has a vessel for it. What does that mean? What comes first, the light or the vessel? No, the light. By you wanting that, that means the fulfillment is already there. Whatever you want, that means the fulfillment is there waiting for you.
So what do we do to get it?
You have to start earning it. You have to start going through the physical processes of how to earn it, okay? I'm gonna do the flip side. Let's say I made this lip gloss, okay? Let's say I'm the creator of this amazing lip gloss and it plumps up your lips and it's amazing. And I genuinely believe that if I shared this lip gloss, it'll make people happier, they'll feel prettier, they'll feel more confident. If I have a genuine, okay, desire to share something with the world, okay, from a pure place, not from a place of, haha, I will make money, people will like me, I will be famous. If it's genuinely to help the other person, by me having that desire to share, okay, the light comes first, the fulfillment comes first, it creates a vessel. A customer will have a desire for my product. Do you get it?
Very true.
So if I'm selling an iPhone, if I'm selling the lip gloss, if I'm selling the candle, and I genuinely do it from place of sharing, if you're selling homes, if you're doing it from place of sharing, for each home that you really like, someone will be so happy here. It will arise in somebody, the right person, oh my God, I'm looking for this exact home that looks like this. You will find that match. Okay? Okay, back to bread of shame. So I went on a tangent. So we're going back to the cake scenario. My point was, the cake that I bought for Leslie last week, I bought for her. It was her cake. I intended it for her. I wanted her to have it. The problem was she took it before it was presented to her, okay? When you take something that's not yet given to you, you're taking on bread of shame. You're taking unearned fulfillment or energy. That's what bread of shame is. It's unearned fulfillment, unearned energy, energy that you haven't earned yet. So that's what she was doing. So she gets that feeling of shame, like you're sitting there from the refrigerator, like double fisting cake. So much so that even if she offers me some cake out of the refrigerator, it doesn't, you know? So the example with this is sometimes we go places and we feel the need to like finagle, cheat, maybe tell a white lie, you know, to get more perks or to get a bonus or to get. Every time in that situation, we think we're moving ahead. We think we got something. We think we're like, the word is zerang.
Yeah.
You're not. What happens is there was more waiting for you. One, you limited yourself with that thing that you took. Number two, you tacked on bread of shame. You tacked on more, I'm gonna say it like this and we'll layer it later. You tacked on like a negative angel, a negative force, a negative entity. You limited yourself. You closed your vessel. You didn't expand it. That's what bread of shame does. It's kind of, it limits you. It limits your cup.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Some people don't have shame.
Yeah.
No, really. Like some people would just eat the cake and be like, but it's for me.
It doesn't
Why
matter
is
if they
it
don't
okay?
feel it. It doesn't matter. It's there. It's the energy does what it needs to do. Whether
Yeah, really.
it might take her 1 week of not going to Nobu with me, it might take someone else 2 years of not coming to Nobu with me.
Whatever. Like, what about the
Some people
Zerans
just
who've
take
never,
it,
but
take
there
it,
are
take
some
it.
people like
They're
that.
tacking on negative energy. They're getting bread of shame, whether they're sensitive to it or not. Those are the people who are going to have chaos in their lives and they're not going to understand where it's coming from. I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. Why does this happen to me? Why do I have anxiety? Why do I have depression? Why is this happening? What? They're not going to realize, but you're attracting chaos. This is not my opinion. This is the spiritual formula that
So you have
exists.
anxiety in life because you attract bread of shame.
You have anxiety in life because two things. One, anxiety is 100% Satan. What happened? I had anxiety on, I think it was Saturday. Okay. I had like intense anxiety. I woke up just anxious. Okay. What happened between Friday to Saturday? Friday was great. I was on a high. Life was good. What happened Saturday? Nothing. Nothing. But I woke up with almost debilitating anxiety. I was irritable. I didn't want to deal with my kids. I didn't want to deal with my husband. What happened?
Maybe you were
Explain
woken up
it.
by screaming for the children. That'll do it.
Yeah. Satan comes to you and goes, life sucks. Life sucks. Your kids are so annoying. How could this happen? Maybe if you control them a little more. Maybe if you tell her to read a book. Maybe if you tell that one to go practice her instrument. Maybe if you tell your husband, why don't we go for a walk earlier rather than later? He's trying to control you. You should be the one in control. It's Satan's voice. Anytime you have anxiety, it's Satan trying to tell you the world sucks, you're shit, you're not doing it right.
So what are you supposed to do?
I see you, Satan. That was the voice of my Satan. That was the voice of my Satan. I see you. No, I would tell myself nothing has changed from then to now, and then I did something to earn spiritual energy. I had slept in. I didn't do anything all day. So do something to earn. Okay, so bread of shame. So that's, yes. Okay, so let's say someone else comes and says, I'm a giver. Okay, I give so much. I don't know. Tell me something. What do people give? I'm the first in line when someone needs help. I always give rides to this person's kids. I don't know, throw something at me. What do people do?
Charity, volunteering.
I always volunteer. I always give charity. I'm always doing what?
Presents.
Presents. I'm always giving presents. But I have chaos and those people don't like me. What's going on?
You overgave giving without the need for someone to receive.
Yeah. When you're looking for approval from someone, or you're looking for someone to like you, or you're looking for someone to return the favor, okay, you're looking for something. So yes, you were sharing, but the energy you took from them washed out any sharing you did.
So giving with intention to receive.
Yeah. When you're sharing, I'm sharing no matter what. It's like you're sharing to, like, God forbid, a dead person. They can never pay you back. You're not doing it for them to reward you, to say thank you to you, to honor you, you're just doing it. Whether they saw it, they didn't see it, they got it, they didn't get it, whether someone said good job, if you're doing anything for a reward, okay, you've tacked on more negativity Then positivity. Yeah.
It
And
should be giving with no intention to
Of
receive.
receiving,
And giving needs to come from your heart.
Yeah.
Like you should do it because
you're giving it just to give. You're giving it, you know what? I'll take it a step further. You're giving it either because you're sensitive to the other person. Like I know that Arzu needs this and that. So I'm just gonna make sure she has it, provide it for her, whatever. Maybe it's she came over, I can sense that she's thirsty, I'm gonna give her a cup of water, or whatever it is, big or small. Two aspects when I do it. One, I'm thinking, what does she need? How could I give to her? Let's say she's thirsty, but she's really thirsty, but she doesn't drink milk. And I just give her milk. And I know she doesn't drink milk, but I'm like, whatever. I give her something to drink. She could drink it if she wants it. Am I giving? No. Let's say she has, how old are your kids?
12, 10, 7.
Okay, let's say she has a 7-year-old and I go and buy the 7-year-old a gift and it's the wrong size. And I know she has a 7-year-old, but I see this really cute outfit, it's a size 6, it's on sale, I buy it for her kid. Here, this is for your birthday. I know this is not the right fit, but I tell myself, whatever, she could return it. She'll re-gift it. That was bread of shame. I wasn't sensitive to her needs. Right? Even me saying she could re-gift it. Let's say she re-gifts it and the person is so happy with it. Doesn't matter. What I did caused me to have bread of shame. I wasn't.
Other people can read your bread of shame. Like
It doesn't
other people,
matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. People read energy. People, they don't know what they're feeling, but they feel something. There are people you're around, and you just get a bet like you're just not, something's off.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes they're the takers. The ones who are like, you know, like even if it looks like they're giving because they want to like, look at me, look what I did, or they're nice to you, or they give you gifts because they want approval, or they want you to like them, right? Anytime there's something like that involved, move away. The example I gave at the last round of class, and I want to say it again because I felt like it was such a good expression of that feeling of bread of shame. Let's say Marjan lost her job. Marjan is a single girl. She's not married. She lost her job. And she comes up to me and she says, Sarah, I lost my job. And I say, with no strings attached, nothing. I don't want anything returned. Oh my God, come stay in my apartment. I have an amazing apartment. I don't know, we live in New York, you have a view of the whole city, it's great. You can have my living room, everything to yourself. I work all day, you're home alone, my refrigerator stocked, Netflix, you're set. So imagine week 1, week 2, week 3, imagine months go by. I don't care, I'm happy, I'm doing my thing. I'm working out, I'm going to my job, I'm coming home. I get in my like work suit if I'm going to work, whatever it is. And Marjan is sitting there and it's been several months. And she's on my couch, in my robe, okay, eating my food, watching my Netflix account.
Sounds like heaven.
How does she feel after 6 months when she sees me going to the gym, coming home, going to work? Why? Why?
Because
Why?
she's stuck
She's getting all this stuff
without
for free. Don't you want that? Don't we all want that? Don't we all want to like have everything
I
easy?
think you'd feel very guilty every time you see the person.
You feel embarrassed, you feel shame. Even something small, like if you're driving on the street and you cut someone off, right? Like that, you cut someone off and then you're at a red light and you see them.
Yes.
How do you look at them like, no, you can barely look because you feel like you took their spot, you took their space. And it's something so small, but we feel that shame. So that energy is there. Whether or not you feel it in every situation, it's there. So that's the whole thing of bread of shame. Okay, any questions? You guys were great.
What signifies earning something?
Okay, so we have 2 types of earning. You have physical earning and spiritual earning, okay? So when you wake up in the morning and you're whatever, one of the ways you physically earn is you make the effort to get out of bed. You make the effort to get dressed. You make an effort maybe to go to the gym. The spiritual earning is at the gym. That's also spiritual earning because you have to have your mind set in a certain way. Maybe you do a short meditation. Maybe you're doing yoga. Maybe like whatever it is. Anything that you're putting forth that's against your nature is earning. Example. Yeah, every time you pause. You heard bad news, you paused. You're spiritually earning. You didn't kill your kid, you're spiritually earning. Right?
Yeah.
You wanted to snap, you didn't, you held your breath, you waited. Maybe you snapped 5 minutes later, but that pause still counts for something.
It's not always like an effort that technically needs to be outward of ourselves.
Like a physical one?
Right.
No. It's internal too. Meditation, prayer, that's all spiritual earning. Prayer is the best one if you can get. I struggle with it personally. I'm hoping to work on that. I'm trying to work on it. But if you can do that, that is the most effective way.
Prayer?
Yeah. It's the most effective, hardcore, like, it's like you're just plugging in. You're plugging in. You're making a vessel. You're asking for something. I can't ask for 16 ounces of water if I have an 8-ounce cup. Prayer gives you the 16-ounce cup.
But prayer can be different to each person. Does it have
Prayer
to
is
be the
in your
Torah?
own words. Yeah, listen to last week's class. In your own words, what you want. Give me the strength to help me earn. Any questions? We moved so much faster through this than we did last time.
I think I have a question about this bread of shame. I
Yeah.
think, I would, bet my house that most everyone here carries that bread of shame. But what about the people in the world who truly are like dosed to their core and have no qualms about taking from in any aspect? whether
They're
financial,
accumulating bread of shame. They're accumulating, they're shortening their vessel. They're shrinking their vessel. They're shrinking their capacity. Whether they realize it or not, it's happening.
But I met people like that, and I see it works perfect for them. Everything is like happiness, money, everything.
You don't see what's going on internally. When you talk to people, you begin to see when the facade falls, and you see someone may look like they have everything from the outside, but for instance, someone may look like they have a lot of money, but they have anxiety day and night about being broke. And they keep accumulating millions of dollars sitting in their bank account, and every single day they have anxiety about going broke. Yeah.
I mean, but that could be just like trauma.
But why are you born into a life with trauma? It's not random. If that soul chose to be born in a life with this trauma, with maybe her mom was frivolous with money and they had a foreclosure, whatever it is, that whole scenario happened because she had that tikkun. She had that she needed to work on. So when you're saying, back to what you were saying, that people accumulate bread of shame and they live a great life, you don't see what else is happening. You're not seeing the full story. You're seeing a snapshot. You're seeing a picture.
I've heard somewhere also that, you tell me if this is right or wrong, that like Hashem allows also for some individuals to just receive, seemingly as if they're not earning it, actually for our tikkun, watching them.
Every time you see anything, it's your tikkun. Anytime you hear about something, it's your tikkun. So if we all heard about, a father recently who passed away, right? We all heard about that. Not only was that his tikkun, his family's tikkun, but if you heard it, there's something about you that you had to hear this news. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The other thing you're doing is those people who have everything, if you're doing it by lying, cheating, stealing, taking before it's given to you, he could be getting so much more. When we're asking for light, let me break this down. When we're asking for light, let's say this is my vessel. Let's say it's 4 ounces, right? So 2 ounces would be my bomb ass hair. 2 ounces would be, that I have good kids, right? 2 ounces would be health, right? So I'm simplifying it, but if I have a 4-ounce vessel, all those things that come in each take up space. So it might look like I have all of this in one area, but if my cup were this big, right? How much more could I have? So when you're taking, instead of receiving, you're limiting what God wants to give you. Did that sit well with you?
Yeah.
I know it's hard when you see it. You're like, wait a minute. He lies, cheats, and steals, and this is all happening for him. Wait.
I'm having trouble bridging, like connecting some of the thoughts. For example, you have trauma, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's your tikkun. I'm gonna use your example because
Please.
it struck a nerve
Yeah.
with me with the financial anxiety,
Okay.
because I was okay, and then when my parents got divorced, we were not okay, and then things changed. I'm now okay, and to remedy my anxiety that things could change overnight, my way is not prayer. It's and this is the selfishness, is like to do things for tikkun olam, to ease my anxiety. Prayer doesn't ease my anxiety. That's what would like calm my tikkun. How are you supposed to, these children who now both have a genetic predisposition and have like actual trauma, how are they supposed to calm and peace and pacify? How is one supposed to pacify their, like what
How do
they're
we
given?
understand?
Our tikkun, what we're given,
So-
the set of cards that were dealt.
Okay, you asked like 4 different questions.
Yeah.
So let's go through each one. So one, you spoke about if a person is born into a situation where they experience trauma.
Mhm.
So you brought up the divorce, and then you're okay financially now, but you have this feeling of it could turn any second.
Completely irrational.
Okay. Where does that? Okay, so we're gonna go back. Why were you born into a family that had divorce and had the financial issues? Was that
I have
random?
an appreciation. I mean, at this point, I have an appreciation for every single thing.
Okay, so according to Kabbalah, the reason your soul chose to be born into this life. So before your soul comes into the world, it sees like you're in a blink of an eye, it sees the movie. If I'm born into this movie, this is the life. If I'm born into this movie, this is the life. If I have these parents, this is the life. It saw everything. It saw the divorce, it saw everything. And it said, in order to work on my irrational fear surrounding money, I choose to be born in this family where the parents are going to get divorced and it's going to cause trauma and things are going to flip overnight and it's going to be weird, right? So it's not because of the trauma that you have this. Your tikkun came before the trauma. Do you get it? Does that am I explaining it well?
Yeah.
So
The chicken or the egg.
you still have
it's
to-
The tikkun came first.
you still have to work on that. And that irrational fear is Satan. You have to understand it. It's always the voice of Satan in our ear saying, it could change. But even if it does change, what was our last class? Or 2 classes ago? Or was it prayer last class? Everything is
Good.
from,
God.
everything is from God, and it's
Good.
everything is from
Yeah.
God, and it's good, and it's here to propel you forward. So even what looks bad, the trauma, the divorce, the insecurity, even if it looks bad, it's really good. It's here for your benefit. Let me give you an example. It looks bad when I work out and it's really hard and I'm sore the next day, right? It doesn't feel good. But what's really happening? The muscles are breaking down to get stronger, right? So when you have a challenge, that challenge is your trainer pushing you. I hate my trainer, okay? She's pushing you. You know, 15 pounds, grab the 25 one. You're like, I can't. For 2 days, you can't move your arm, right? Is the pain bad? No, we understand that pain is not bad. That pain serves a purpose. It's growth, right? It's for the ultimate good. So when you experience that pain, that anxiety, whatever it is, the bad news, whatever it is, it looks bad, it's not bad. It's here for you to grow.
It's the growing pains.
Is it difficult? Is it a challenge? Is it an obstacle? 100%. But it's here. It's here for growth.
Okay.
You also asked about the kids. You said, what about kids who are here, who are born with deformities or whatever?
I was talking about the father who left behind a family. These kids who like now have both a genetic predisposition, plus now like they've the experience on top of it.
A genetic predisposition.
From like mental health.
Okay. So, who wants to answer her question? Should I go or does anyone want to address it?
The child chose
The whole family, before coming into this life, for whatever reason, whatever challenges they have, the predisposition, it wasn't random. They chose to be born, and I know it's a big one, but if there is a God, and there is a creator and he's good, right? Everything has a master plan and we just don't see it. So those kids before they were born saw the entirety of their life, and this is how they could accomplish what they need to the best. Sometimes you see this when you see like a kid being bullied all throughout school, and then they become like these crazy successful people, right?
It's the growing pains.
It wouldn't have happened but for their challenges. Those challenges that looked horrific when they were teenagers were opportunities for them to grow to become the person they are now. I'm not saying go chase challenges.
No,
I'm not saying they have an easy time.
It's often that you see it in retrospect, not in
in real time. 100%. 100%. There was a third one too, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Okay. Oh, prayer, that you don't connect with prayer. It's hard. We spoke about it, that Satan did a really good job at doing a smear campaign against prayer. We feel stupid. We feel like we're talking to a wall. I joked how my dad would even say, like, oh, Jews go to the kotel and they pray to a wall. You know, it's hard for us. But Satan is there because there's so much energy behind it. Because it's so powerful. So if you want to journal, if you want to talk to yourself, request it from your soul, all of that is a prayer. Even when I go to Starbucks and I ask for a chai latte, that's a prayer. I'm creating a vessel. I'm requesting something. I'm opening myself up to receive something. So you have to change how you look at prayer. What you're really doing is you're making yourself able to receive. You're opening yourself up. Okay, anybody else?
Sarah, some of like what Maria was saying, some kids who come into this world don't have a specific tikkun unless it's triggered by an experience.
Incorrect.
Masana, like in Roya's, like if her parents, the situation hadn't happened, she would not now have to work on this tikkun necessarily.
No.
So it would show up in a different way, you mean?
No. You're okay, I'm gonna use my example.
You can use mine, it's fine.
I'm gonna use mine just because I feel like I could dig into it nicely without okay. So we came here from Iran when I was a kid. When I was born during a war. It was the Iran-Iraq War. My mom was a nurse. She was given 10 days maternity leave. None of our family were in Iran. They were all in America. At 10 days old, I went to daycare. Okay? Afterwards, whatever, my life, my mom passed away when I was a young child, young adult. Could we say my abandonment issues are because my mom died? Sure. Could we say my abandonment issues were because as a young age I was put in daycare at 10 days old? Sure. What I'm telling you is, why did my soul come into this world, into a life where I would be in daycare at 10 days old, where I would have a mom who would pass at a young age? It was because I had the tikkun of abandonment. And this is the life that would touch those buttons and propel me to work on it. I can't work on, before I'm born, think about it, I can't work on abandonment issues if I'm born into a life that doesn't bring up that scenario. So the tikkun doesn't start when you're born. The tikkun started before you were born. Your life showcases the times and places where the tikkun could be worked on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get your tikkun from previous lifetimes and it
It
accumulated?
could be from previous lifetimes, yes. You tack on. But also, when we go back to the celestial contract, what happened? Imagine it was like a piece of paper, like the vessel's like a piece of paper or like a glass, and it shatters, right? So all those little shatterings are all tikkuns that we now have to put together, are all little, like, when you unify, you're going through those. Yes, that's what it is. Yes. In summary, yes. Anyone else? Okay, let me see if I covered everything I wanted to. Okay, we're 40 minutes in. What I wanted to share, we could do this another time too, is sometimes when we're giving to people. Do you want to talk about that a little bit or no?
Yeah.
Before you give advice, before you talk, before you share, before you give someone a gift, before you give someone a ride, before you do anything, okay? You need to first be honest with yourself. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this to be, oh, I'm the good person who always gives rides. I'm the good person who always helps. Are you doing this so that later they have to give back to you when you need to collect you have to collect something, like you're banking your
Deposit.
you're depositing your requests. Yes.
Creating
So
a
then-
deficit with that.
So then later you could say, hey, can you take my kid? And you're thinking to yourself, I took her kid 10 times. She has to say yes, right? You have to be honest. If you're doing that with any kind of agenda, and agenda is not a dirty word. Agenda just means maybe you're trying to be fair. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, if I give you 2, you have to at some point give me back 2, right? Maybe it's not a dirty word. In that moment, when you're doing that act, if you have anything other than I'm just giving for the sake of giving, you're accumulating bread of shame. You're accumulating chaos into your own life.
So, but what if someone's doing it for you, right? And like you go back, like it's kind of like, well, then that makes you feel bread of shame too.
You could say no.
You could say no, but but maybe if it makes you feel better, be like, can I do this for you also? But it's not like it's not your own agenda, but it's kind of like a reciprocal thing where so that you feel like you're not getting bread of shame by having them take your child.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
But you need to be, yes, going back to this, you have to be sensitive, okay, in that moment. Let's say, I don't know, someone came up to me and said, I'm having an issue with this person, third person that we know. You need to go talk to her. I'm gonna go say what to her? This person wants to hear from me. You know what I mean? The person is not receptive to me. Right? So you have to be careful. Look at body language. If you're having a conversation with someone at a party and they kind of like look away or they move away, that 1 second that they move away or they show that they're no longer receptive, stop talking. Okay? We'll learn more in Kabbalah too, but every word that comes out creates is a positive or negative force. Okay? Every single word. So you don't want to spend your words tacking on negative forces. You want to use it only to accumulate positive. So you don't want to use that for bread of shame. So that's one. What's another area where we could do that with? I spoke about the gifts. We did the waiter example. If you're at a restaurant and you're really thirsty and the waiter's pouring water and it's the best water and you love water and they're pouring water, but it's more water than your cup can hold and now it's spilling everywhere. But the person is trying to give to you. Were they sensitive to you? No. Were they sensitive to your needs? No. So what are they doing? They're accumulating bread of shame. Right? And what happens when you give to someone who doesn't have the vessel for it? They end up resenting you. They won't even know why. Let's go through another example. Let's say there's a girl and a guy and they're dating. Okay? And the guy is this perfect guy. Okay? He's charismatic. He comes from a good family. He's well off. Like everything. Whatever you say he has. And he's obsessed with this girl. He loves her and he wants to show her he loves her, and he keeps buying her gifts and doing stuff for her, and let me hold your bag as you go to the bathroom. I'll just sit outside the bathroom holding your bag. Like, he just keeps giving. How does the girl feel? Suffocated. But why? He's a great guy. Why does she feel suffocated? He's overgiving. He's not sensitive to her vessel. So what happens? She pulls away. You can't help it. It's you kind of, your soul remembers the Tzimtzum. It remembers that feeling of the endless, of getting all that light without receiving. And what did the vessel do? It broke away. So without you realizing it totally on a soul level, your soul's like repulsed, like, ew, I don't want it. And maybe that girl finds another guy who's not as handsome, not as good looking, doesn't come from a good family, but he knows how to give to her in an appropriate way. He's sensitive to her needs. He's sensitive to how much to give, when to stop, when to pull back. She'll be happier with him. Now imagine that first guy senses the girl is drifting away. What does he do?
Give
more. Give more. So we do that in our lives, don't we? We do that with teachers' gifts, right? We do that with certain friends that we want to become closer with. We do that in multiple areas. So just be a little more sensitive to that, because every time you do that, you're attracting negativity into your own life.
Question for you. So let's say you see a situation and you want to help just from the standpoint of, I just want to help, not expecting anything in return, but you don't know. Like, for example, this morning I was at work, I was meeting one of my kids at a school. There's another kid in a different class, a girl who has severe autism, comes out of class because she's so dysregulated and screaming and crying, and she has a therapist with her who I originally thought maybe it was the mom. And I'm sitting there watching this all happen, and I have all these thoughts in my head of like, oh my God, she needs to try this with her, she's dysregulated, and I'm meanwhile treating my own kid. But I didn't say anything, and I went to the therapist. I said, are you her mom? Thinking if she says yes, I will give her some, like, whatever,
Tools,
like,
yeah.
do this and this, help out. And she said, no, I'm her therapist. And then the rest of the 10 minutes, I'm sitting there watching her do, you know, so many things that I would have totally done differently that could have helped her. But I didn't say anything. So, and then I walked away from the situation. I was like, I should have said something. I should have helped out. I mean, the therapist was clearly like, not necessarily interested in what I had to say, but then I felt that I left the situation thinking like, oh my God, I should have said something. I should have done more. I should have. Is that the same as like bread of shame? Like, I was just wanting to help, but she wasn't really.
She wasn't receptive.
Not so much. Not so much. Yeah, because she was just so engrossed in trying to get this kid to calm down so she can take her back into class. Is
So
that
maybe your
considered bread
time,
of shame?
yeah. If you spoke at the wrong time where she can't hear it, yeah, you'll be accumulating
So
bread
then
of
I
shame.
just stopped.
But maybe your timing was just off. If you do the same thing at a different time, maybe when she's not trying to regulate the kid to go back to class, maybe at a time where she's more calm, maybe she'll be more receptive. And then we'll go into
So it's just
later,
more
yeah,
timing than
like in 5-6 classes, we'll talk about more about how you would word everything. But just asking about helping, if she's not receptive, that wasn't the time. Maybe a different time she'd be receptive, but if you see she's not receptive at all, then what are you gonna do? Talk to deaf ears?
Did
But
you
you
ask
could-
her, like, can I
I
help
asked
you?
her, I said, do you want to use some of my equipment? And she said, oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. But this kid was just so dysregulated. I don't think she could have even
Yeah.
focused on what I was saying. And then I was like, should I jump in even more? Or should I just let it go? And like, you know, it was just, I just felt so bad, but I don't know.
She couldn't hear you because she was so overwhelmed.
She was so overwhelmed, and like I offered, I said, you know, do you want to try this with her? And I don't know even what kind of therapist she was. I think she may have been like speech therapy or something. But anyways, it just like it was such a sad situation for me. Like the whole time I was sitting there like anxious, like I should like jump in more. I should do something. But then I was like, wait, she's not asking for it. Just don't say anything. Don't do anything.
So you are coming from a purely giving place.
Yeah, but then like you walk
No
away,
agenda.
Like, I know that I can help this situation.
But they weren't receptive
But
at
they
that
weren't
moment.
receptive, and so like I don't know, I walked away more depleted, and like, you know, I felt so bad that maybe I should have said something, maybe I should have pushed more and interjected or something, but she just wasn't open to it at the time.
You have to give yourself grace for exercising your judgment. I mean, it could have I mean, at best, she just wouldn't have been receptive. At worst, it would have backfired. Maybe, and, you know,
Maybe,
you can get antagonistic as well
Yeah.
when you're, you know, getting unsolicited advice, and they're, you know, you're treading on their expertise.
Right, exactly, and that's why I stopped. I'm like, she's not asking for it. So I just stayed quiet.
Sarah, so you should not do it unless they ask for it.
You have to feel it out. Maybe the person's not asking for it, but if you begin talking, they'll be like into it, right? But if you get a clue that they're not into it, you stop.
Which I think what you did.
Yeah, which is
Stop.
what I did.
You're focused on how she was receiving your help, but I think you were trying to help the child.
Yeah.
But she can't reach the child without the
Right.
study.
Yeah, I had to go through her to get to the child.
But is it her responsibility at that point to take care of that child? Given
We're not
no-
talking about her responsibility. We're just talking about her coming from a giving place and trying to assess, can she give in this situation and how to give.
So
So
they're
Sarah,
separate.
what is, so I guess this is part of her tikkun, right?
Of Shiva's tikkun.
So what she went through,
Shiva's, you're talking about Shiva.
she was supposed
Yeah.
to feel what
Yeah.
she felt,
Yeah?
okay?
And she
I
struggled
get
with
that,
it.
and she struggled with it. And now what is she supposed to do with these feelings? So these things, like I know you're supposed to say this was supposed to happen. Thank you for these things, right? You're supposed to say thank you for these. Does she go back and analyze it and say, okay,
Why was
I
it
was
in my
meant to
movie?
feel this because. What's it? What,
Yeah, okay,
what
so-
is it to make her not feel bad? Like,
Okay, so
so it
the
doesn't
goal is
happen
not
again.
to make you not feel bad.
What?
The goal is not, I'm not here to help Shiva not feel bad.
Right, but what
When,
was it?
but let's pause. When you feel bad, what is it? What is guilt and what is guilt? Yes.
What did she say?
Guilt is Satan. Guilt is when Satan comes from the other side to make you feel shame and guilt for doing or not doing something. So there's no point in her feeling any of those feelings. If she wants to see, why did that situation trigger me? Why did that make me feel that I needed to jump in? Right? She can sit. I would hate if, God forbid, it was my kid or whatever it was. She has to sit, and only the person experiencing it can figure it out. We can't figure it out for her. What I think that would trigger anybody, but you were there. That was your movie. Why was it in your movie? And you'll sit and you'll figure it out. But to go back and say, I should have done this, I should have done that, do it for a second as a learning thing and get out. Don't dwell in it. Don't persevere. Persevering is 100% Satan. Every second you're persevering, it's like having a leak. You're just losing your energy.
Yeah, but what if you're thinking about it that way and then you're like, okay, so maybe next time I see her when she's not overwhelmed, I can go say,
Yes.
hey, you know, I saw this and I really wanted to help. If this happens, please don't hesitate to, I would be more than happy.
Yes.
And then maybe it happens so that next time, like,
Yes.
she can, like, participate.
We're speaking the same language. Yeah. Yeah. To have a solution, a resolution, figure it out, and that's it. Not to like, oh my God,
Because then
I
maybe,
missed it. I should have done this. What?
right. Because I'm thinking maybe the other girl, like, she feels like it's her responsibility. Maybe you don't know what she's thinking, right? She could be
Right.
thinking like, I shouldn't ask for help. This is my job. Like, she might want it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you haven't seen the movies, see what the bleep do we know.
Oh, I saw the sliding door.
Yeah.